I have a game here based upon the TV show Firefly by Joss Whedon, and it's the Firefly the board game, and it's been fairly popular here the past few months. You can see it's not a extremely large box, but it is heavy with contents. Kind of see it has its little spiel on the back, kind of addressing the theme. You can also see it's going to come with 4 ship cards, 6 story cards, 381 game cards, 150 paper money. It's supposed to be a thick linen paper, 167 tokens, 2 dice, 6 plastic ships, and the game boards and rules. And I also have the expansion that was put in Game Trade magazine that gives you another ship to play here, the Artful Dodger. So it will actually let you go up to 5 players. You could probably make up your own ships or other ship cards too, and play with more if you wanted to. Of course, that would increase the time once you played the game. And the game's by Gale Force 9. I think their only other major foray into the board game was the ones based upon the Spartacus license. You get a little advertisement for the Margaret Weiss role-playing game based on the Firefly universe. They're going to have a board game coming out for this themed with the Sons of Anarchy. And there's the Spartacus game I was talking about. Looks like they have an ad for some sort of book for Firefly. An ad for some of the comic books. So just your basic advertisement. You have your rule book here. You're going to open it up. You're going to get a kind of a generic layout of all the stuff you're going to get in the game, what each of those pieces are, what they do. You're going to get an example diagram of the game setup and the steps that go to getting ready to play. You get an explanation of skills and skill tests. It takes you through a game turn. Explains how to move around the board and how the 2 NPC ships move. How to buy supplies, where to get those from. Dealing with your contacts to get jobs and how to do all that. How to actually work the job once you get it. It goes on for a couple of pages. The actual goals of the game and how to determine who wins. You get some additional rules. And then some tips and credits. We have some tokens here. Zoom in on these. And a couple of the 2 major ones you're going to have here. You're going to have parts, which you're going to use during various parts of the game to keep your ship intact, to bypass certain adventures that you run into. And then you're going to have fuel, which you'll use to help you navigate the universe. We have some disgruntled tokens, which can be attached to your crew if you do something they don't like. Looks like it's themed after the Fruity Odie Bar girl. You have some cargo tokens, which you're going to use to either sell or complete jobs. On the back side of these, all of the fuel and part tokens are the same. The disgruntled tokens are the same, but the cargo flips around to be contraband, which you can also use to sell or achieve objectives. But if you get caught with it, you get in trouble. You have a warrant issued cards here, or tokens, and they're going to determine how much trouble you get into when you run into the Alliance. You have the first player token, which is a dinosaur. They recommend you go out and buy your own dinosaur to set on the table and use as the first player token. You have a card that explains on the token sheet that explains how the Alliance ship works. And then you have passenger tokens, which you're going to use to, most of the time, just to complete a mission by taking them from one place to another. But you also, on the other side of those, they become fugitive tokens, which are just passengers that you can get in trouble for having on your ship if the Alliance finds you. On the other side of the Alliance ship card, you have the Reaver ship card that explains what it does when you encounter it. And on the other side of the warrant tokens, you have gold tokens. So as you achieve objectives in the game, you'll get a gold token to let you know that you're on the next objective. You have the game board here. And it's basically a map of the Firefly verse. Folds out into 6 pieces. So you can pull back and you can see it's a fairly big board. It's graphically done so you can see the Alliance takes up the big blue area. The rest of it's kind of border space. And you can see how each system's in big bold letters, with the planets in a smaller white font. The contacts and places where you can buy equipment are color coded to match the decks. You can see the decks are going to be color coded like that. So for instance, when you go to Amandul, he's a contact, but you also have the Space Bazaar. You can see it's kind of purple and white. When you look at the Space Bazaar card, it's going to be purple and white. So those are kind of graphically done to where it's going to be easier to find stuff on the board. Still a big board, it'll probably take a little while to get used to. Where things are. So then you have the 4 ships that come into it, and these are a heavy stock card. You can see the one you get in the promo thing from the Game Trade magazine is just kind of thin card stock. This is a heavy, thick card stock. So you have the Bonanza, and it is a, looks like you can have a max 6 crew and just a generic engine. Same thing for the Bonnie May here. Then you have the Serenity and the Yunqi. You can see where your cargo will go, and you can hide stuff in your stash that's illegal, like those fugitives or contraband. And you see your drive core go here, and then other upgrades for your ship. You can have your crew, and then how many active jobs you're working. The layout's pretty much the same for all of those. Continuing on, you have the main objective cards here. I do believe they have at least one online card that you can print out to get another objective. You can see the nice big cards. They have a nice graphic of fireflies flying off in different directions there. Kind of have a weathered look to them. But the basic layout of it, you get kind of your theme and some little story there, and then you get several goals that must be completed to complete the adventure, and you're going to get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those, one of which is a solo game. can see they have varying goals. Some of them are just getting a certain amount of money. Some of them you have to complete certain types of missions. You have these ships here. So you have the Alliance ship. You can see kind of has lots of large towers on it. And they come with a little stand that just inserts in the bottom there. And then you have the Reaver cutter here. And you're going to get some different colored ones here. So you got orange, yellow, green, blue, and then the promo ship is just a light blue. And they're kind of a rubbery plastic. They got a little bend to them. Almost like a little toy you'd get out of a gumball machine. You got your two 6-sider dies, and they're kind of a bone color. The light's flushing it out to make it kind of white, and the 6 has a little Firefly kind of emblazoned on it. Get a couple of those. You're going to get some paper money here. And this is a fairly heavy stock paper. It's still paper. You can tell it's but it has doesn't have any kind of gloss finish on it. But it's themed and worked to kind of fit the theme of the Firefly verse. So you can see there's a 2000. Looks to be the same on the front and the back. Have a 1000. Have a 500 here. And the last ones you're going to have is a 100. It's a very weird looking, I don't know if that's supposed to be like a little idol or the top down version of a building there. A lot of them have the Asian versions of a dragon on them though. And you're going to get several decks of cards here, several packages of cards, lots of different decks. You can see 3 big things of cards here. We'll open up the first thing of cards. Alright, so I'll open them all up and get them sorted. So I have all the cards unpackaged, and you can kind of see them here in the basic part of the frame. So you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different kinds of cards here. You're going to have the decks that are the different space stations and planets where you can buy stuff and hire crew. You're going to have 5 different decks here where you can acquire jobs from your different contacts. You're going to have the starting cards, which give you your basic drive for your ship and your captain. You're going to have the movement cards, which, depending on whether or not you're in border space or alliance space, that you'll use to determine how your ship moves. And then you have your aim to misbehave cards, which are things you have to objectives you have to complete in order to get through missions at some times. So we'll take a quick look at each of the different cards here so you can get an idea of its anatomy. You have your basic cards here. You have 4 different drive cores for your 4 different ships, and they're just a basic. Shows you a range of 5, and it costs a fuel to do a full burn, which just means you can move that full 5 in a turn. And then you have your captains here. There's more than 4 captains, so there's a choice. But you have Malcolm Reynolds. And you can see they have some different keywords on here to determine what they can do. Some different bonuses they might get, the skills that they have. The skills are kind of with icons. I think this is guns and social. You have Burgess here. And you can see he has many keywords here, but he does have another keyword item called Fancy Duds. You can see he adds an engineering skill in there. We have Corbin, and you see he's a mechanic, and you have Marco and Monty and Mandy and Womack. So those will be the starting captains you get to choose from in the basic core that comes with your ship. You have your different contact cards here. You have Amandul's a contact. He's at the Space Bazaar in the Red Sun. And I believe what's this part that's going to be in the upper right hand corner here is whenever you complete a job for them, you become on good terms with them, so you can sell stuff to them for that amount of money. That's where the contraband and cargo can come in. You can sell it instead of using it to complete missions. But then you have the anatomy of a mission card here. And you have to meet its needs, so you'd have to have 2 guns and 2 mechanic symbols. It tells you whether it's legal or illegal, what you have to pick up, and where you have to drop off, and if you're going to get any bonuses. So you can see they have a bunch of different. You can see there's an illegal job. That's the basic anatomy of those cards, and you're going to have Niska and Badger, Harkin, and Persephone, or Patience to also use from. You're going to have your movement cards here, and these are what you're going to use in border space. So that's what the back of them looks like, and a lot of them are going to be keep flying, which means nothing happens. But then others you run into, it'll come up and you can run, the Reaver ship can get moved. It can be moved at you. You can have a test that'll come along, like you get ambushed here and you have to do one or the other of these things to keep from being ambushed, and maybe to keep on moving. Sometimes you're stopped regardless. But that's kind of how those cards works, and those are for border space. And the alliance space are the same thing, only it'll be moving the alliance ship when it comes up, and you still have the same thing to test to get past an obstacle. You have the aim to misbehave cards, which when you get these cards, sometimes you have to misbehave in order to complete these missions. So when you have to misbehave, you have to complete as many of these objectives as it says to. So if it says to complete 2, you'll have to flip over one, complete it, and then flip over another one and complete it. So we have, you can see it's giving you one of 2 options here. You can either do it by having this keyword item, or by having the amount of guns here. Or sometimes it even has, if you have a certain character, you pass it automatically. You can see those are all River Tam. Like if you had a fake ID or a companion or a sniper rifle. But it says, you know, it gives you the mission, and it gives you what you need to skill you need to try to complete that, and what happens based on what you roll. You see there's a bunch of these different cards here. And then the last set of cards are going to be the crew and equipment cards. You can see they're coded to or backed to and themed to go to a specific location. So you can have the Space Bazaar, Silverhold, Persephone, Regina, and the Osiris Shipworks. So you can see some of them have crew that you can hire, and you can see how much it costs. And by hiring crew, you can get more of these symbols, which will help you complete those missions. So you can see you have some named crew and some generic crew. Or you have different other items you can buy, like a fake ID, an official looking vehicle, credentials, and security interface, surgical kit, ship upgrades. You can get a med bay, more crew quarters so you can hoard more crew, more cargo hold, better drive cores. So, and then these different cards will have the different people at them. So you can try to assemble whatever crew you want to. And some of them look like they're themed to carry more weapons, some of them more kind of upgrades and stuff to get past obstacles in more of a negotiating way. But that is everything that comes in Firefly the game by Gale Force 9.